What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the P to the A, and today we're building a retaining wall just like this. It's a granite retaining wall. I'm going to have my friend come here.
I'm here to be the teacher.
He's going to put this wall together, and we're going to show you the process and how it's done. Let's get to it. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we're doing here, as you can see, is basically clearing out the old retaining wall that was there. It was falling apart, it was no good, so we're removing all of that, removing some of that brush. And basically we're going to lay down 3/8 gravel for the base, and that's what you see here. The wall itself is basically going to stand on that 3/8 gravel. We're going to go ahead and lay our first course of stones, and basically we're going to pick the bigger and better, heavier stones for the bottom, and we're going to stack them, and as we come up we'll go ahead and backfill it like we're doing here. We're going to go ahead and throw some of that 3/8 stone back there and various other stones that we have in order to backfill it. So here we're doing the mortar joints. Usually you wait till the end to do this, but my friend wanted to show me what it was going to look like. He calls this pioneer joints, and it's a type of joint that they do in the old country, and that's what he's doing here now. But again, normally you would wait till the end to do this, but as you can see, it's starting to take shape. We use some of those heavier stones on the bottom, and we're building our way up. Look at the string here. We're always going to follow that string to make sure the wall is straight, and that's all these guys use basically is a string, and they're going to follow that string for the rest of the build of the wall. Alright, so we can see how we're stacking them up. We're filling it behind. We have that gravel, so the base is 3/8 gravel, and we're building our way up, and we're putting some of the other junk that we have, whatever we have, cinder blocks, whatever, in order to fill that wall, because it's a retaining wall. All you're going to see is the front, and we do this because we're going to save money. We only have to worry about the rocks that are facing you, and you can get a better look here at the backfill, and that's how we're going to continue. The wall is starting to take shape, and it's looking good, and again, that string is everything. That string is going to tell you how the wall is going to be, how straight the wall is going to be, and that's what you have to follow. He takes that string and he moves it up those posts as he works. And again, he's doing some more joint work here, and this is usually done towards the end, but you can see how he's working it here, and he's just basically working that mortar into the joints, and it really does make the wall look better. You can easily just stack it and not worry about the joints, but I feel like the joints bring an extra dimension, and again, it really does make the wall stand out. And as he's doing this, he's probably telling me a BS story right now. This guy's probably been working since he was 13, 14 years old. He knows exactly what to do without even thinking about it. These guys are hustlers from the old country, and they know. So on these mortar joints, the first thing that he does is put the mortar in between the stones, and then shape the mortar and remove any excess mortar with the trowel that he's doing here, and then basically work it with a wet paintbrush and just shape it into a nice smooth shape all around the stones. Really, the key here with the mortar is to make the individual stones stand out. We can see that the new stones that he's adding to it, he's always following that line. That line is everything, and that's what he's following in order to keep that line straight. We can also see a little bit of the drainage, how it's going to work. But as you can see, that line is straight as an arrow, and he's going to follow that line. He's going to keep stacking the stone, because remember, we're just going to see the front of the wall, so we don't have to worry so much about the back because it's a retaining wall. But you can see how he's stacking this stone. He's finding good stone, flat stone that faces the outside of the wall, that faces you, and he's stacking it. And then basically with the joints that he has already done here, he's going to go ahead and connect it to the new joints. And again, important to follow the line. Here you see some of the drainage, and we're going to get into that as we continue the video. And as we look at these stones, we have to find the best stones that we have in order to stack them up. Again, this is a retaining wall, and the front of the wall is all that's going to be seen, so you just got to make sure that the front of the wall looks good. And this guy has been doing this for a while. You can see him working the stone and how he's shaping the stone and how he's shaping it against that string that he has there. And he's basically going up, you know, working his way up, putting a little bit of mortar, and he's going to worry about the joint after, but he wants to make sure that the stone sticks to the wall. So these are the various stones that we're using, and the ones that we don't use for the front of the wall, we just go ahead and use it to fill. This guy's been doing it for a long time. He knows which stones to use, which stones not to use, which ones to work, and which ones are going to be going into the wall and making it look good. And you can see that at the back of the wall, we're not worried about it so much. We have the 3/8 blue stone. We have some of the stones that we don't use in the back, And you can see there's various stones here. He has to work it and find the best stone, or the face of the stone has to be nice and flat. And that's the part that's going to face us. That's the part that has to look good. It's starting to look like a wall, and you can see that that mason string has been moved up. And he's always going to follow that string again. I mean, I can't tell you how important that is. Got to make sure that the string is there, and that's how they do it in the old country. That's how they do it in the old days. There's nothing else involved. It's just basically following that string and knowing what you're doing.
Pink. That's the men's color. You don't use no pink, you're not a man, my friend.
Not a man.
It's like the stone.
Again, we backfilled this wall with all kinds of stones, cinder block pieces, basically anything that we're not going to use for the face of the wall. We backfilled it, and we do this again because we're going to be saving money. We don't have to use good material in the back of the wall because it's a retaining wall. It's going to get filled with dirt again. Nobody's going to see it, so we backfill it to make it stronger. And we just really got to worry about the front. We got to make sure it's straight, and we got to make sure we have our best stones facing us, and that's what we're doing here. And as you can see, it's looking beautiful. It's looking like a real wall. It's looking straight. So for the top of the wall, we saved some of our better flat stones in order to cap it, as you can see here, and we're starting from the outside of the edges in. And for the drainage, we have the perforated pipe. On top of this pipe, we're going to put some more of that 3/8 stone, and that's really going to be the key. So when we have water penetration on the back of the wall, it's going to go through the stone, through the perforated pipe, and then out the front. On a retaining wall, drainage is very, very important, so you got to take that serious. We're going to go ahead and mortar this and put some of that best stone that we have, some of the best flat stone on top of the wall. And this is where you want to use some of your flattest
and then the cap,
stone,
right?
that you're not going to be able to use on the actual wall for the top, like we're doing here.
The guy knows.
And look how he breaks this rock with ease, and it's going to fit in the right place.
Smaktala, lo maktar che fazia com o estômago grosso da zia. Eu disse matar comigo agora temos um padre, mas na rua onde trabalhava, não sei o quê. Vamos lá. Ok. Ora, vira de novo, vira de vez. Que chamas a polícia, está tudo feito. Olha, olha, cap, é polícia, vai. Estou aqui. Não sei, ó.
That's it.
Está aqui para um bocadinho, se não,
Concentrate on the rock. That's all I care.
That's
it.
Here you can get a better look on how we're working the caps, and basically he's working the caps from the outside in. And at this point, we noticed that we moved the string to the back of the wall because we really want a crisp edge on the back of the wall. So that's the only part that we have to worry about on the back of the wall, is when we put the caps, in order to make it look like the wall is straight all the way up, even from the back. Okay, so you have to give it dimension, you have to give it a nice crisp edge on the back, and that's when you see when we move the string to the back of the wall. And really, we're worried about making it look good, and the part that's going to be exposed on top, the back of the wall that's going to be hidden by all the dirt, doesn't really matter. But the top here, you can see the string does matter. You have to make it look like it's a solid wall all the way through. So the back, basically, you have to make it look like there's a nice flat face to it, and you only have to worry about that when you get to the top capstones on the back of the wall, because it's a retaining wall. And here you can get a better perspective of what I'm talking about. You can see how some of those rough edges are, and then at the very top we have the string, and we have a nice crisp edge, and it looks good all the way through. And it's starting to come into shape. It looks good. It's straight. And like I said, because it's a retaining wall, we have to worry about the front, the top, and the very less coarse on the back of the wall. So the capstones have been chosen. Like I said, you want to pick some of those flat, thin stones that you're not going to use for the front, and you want to go ahead and put them as your caps. And we're starting the caps from the outside edges all the way in. And here you can see what is left of the stone. Not much. We basically utilized older stone in various parts of the wall, either for the filler in the back, or the face, or the top capstones. And while I was doing this, I decided, you know what, let's make another little asphalt driveway. So I'm going to show you that now before we go back to the wall and put the finishing touches. Let's go. While you're watching this, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means everything, and this really helped me to create more videos. Check out the channel because I have plenty more videos that you might find interesting. If you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Please consider liking that video, putting a like, subscribing, leave a comment. Your support helps and encourages me to keep making these videos and putting them on YouTube. So here you can see the final product. The driveway looks really good along with that stone wall. I mean, I think it complements each other, and it's a nice little space that we have here. So at this point, really, there was just some final touches on the wall. My friend ended up coming back one night and just basically taking care of those little touches that were left. So that's pretty much it. We did run out of light, but we used the truck's lights to give us a little bit of light and finish the rest. So I hope this video has been helpful, and thanks again. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.